Welcome back to a quick chat in the Cadillac. My name is SG. I like to explore the simplicity of complexity. So if you don't know, this is my show where I break it down for you real and quick. Today I'm going to be telling you the story of the black heart. I'm telling you the story of the cold heart, the frozen heart. It's a dark one. In today's day and age, it almost seems trendy to be closed off, to remove yourself from the possibility of being hurt by closing off the availability to connection, to emotion. And as safe as that may feel, I think you're misleading yourself if you believe that's your best option. Now, in the grand scheme of things, experience is the purpose of human existence at its very basic level. Whatever you're supposed to experience and accomplish, that's where you get into more specifics. But on a very base level, experience is the purpose behind human existence. And though experience brings a lot of things, one thing that people often find themselves unprepared for is pain. Experience brings a lot of pain. It's just part of the package deal, right? Duality, balance, it all exists the same way. So, with the good is going to be the bad, and with the great is going to be the worse. You feel me? That causes people to live typically one of two ways. In a state of naivety and a state of detachment. If you found the strength, if you found the fortitude to exist somewhere in between the two extremes, then I have to give you your props, because there's a lot of people out here who haven't figured out how to do that yet. Some people lack in experience. Others lack in the capability to deal with the experiences they've had. And I'm not going to tell you which one I am. I'm not going to tell you where I sit on the spectrum. But I'll tell you I work actively to try to balance those things. There have been times in the past where either myself or people around me that I've noticed. So today we're going to talk about the black heart. We're going to talk about the people on the opposite end of the spectrum of naivete. We're going to talk about the people who shut down emotionally, who shut down connection, who guard themselves so much that they end up shooting themselves in the foot. Okay, you hold too many guns in your hands, one of them's bound to go off at some point in time, whether it's because you drop it or not. I don't know. I won't tell you that, or I can't tell you that. But having a black heart is not the solution to your problems. We could look at very extreme examples. Stone cold killers. Stone cold killers. You think they don't feel pain? You think that every time they go out, they catch a body that it ain't a part of them, a piece of them that cries for that moment, that cries that this is where they are, this is what they have to be? If you think that, then let's just go back. Why don't you locate the nearest Vietnam veteran? Okay, I'm talking about motherfuckers that was in the field in Vietnam. Ask them if they don't cry a little bit. Ask them if when they caught their first or their second or their third or their fourth body, it wasn't some sort of pain. And people get closed off, right? We get detached. It's hard to deal with pain, especially if you're going through some shit that's monumental. If you've done or experienced things that change your entire perspective that other people may not have survived, it's natural for you to want to shut down, to detach, because your fear is that it may happen again. So you live in survival. You live with the constant fear that shit like that can happen to you. And so in order to protect yourself, you detach. You remove yourself from experience. You don't try to let yourself feel deeply. And when you get too close to feeling deeply, you remove yourself from the situation. But it's a cost to that. I hope you know. The cost is you're going to live a long, lonely life. All right? And we don't even have to talk about romantics. We could talk about every day to day. When you have a tendency to not let people close to you, when you have a tendency to shut yourself down, detach, and just not participate in emotional connections in any form or fashion, or, cut them off at their knees, more or less, and only let it go past us, don't let it go past a certain point, then you're barring yourself from experience. Even though the lows will come, you're barring yourself from all the highs, all the joys. You're barring yourself from reaching that point where things matter so much that they can hurt you, even though you're not, there's no guarantee that they're going to hurt you to the extent that you got hurt before. There's also no guarantee they won't, but that's a chance that you got to learn how to take. That's why you have to honor people who have found a good balance between being naive and open and, or open-hearted and open-minded versus people who is just closed off and detached and have those black hearts. You have to respect the balance because it takes a special kind of person to wake up every day and remind themselves after all the experiences that they've been through to open back up, allow themselves to experience more. Because over time, you got to realize, just like the pop song, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. There's a reason the saying exists, and the saying exists to encourage people not to remove themselves from the experience that is life, the experience that is love, the experience that is friendship, the experience that is positive and negative connections with others and interactions with others. It's to show you, like, if you made it through, you can make it through again. That doesn't mean that you will have to make it through again, but it's inspiration. It made you stronger. Now you dealt with that. When you come back and open yourself up again, you'll be fine. It be the most blackest hearts who really be the saddest people. The ones that we feel like don't feel the most, the ones that we feel like have the least amount of emotion be the saddest people. And I'll tell you why they're sad. Because in the process of all that pain and all that hurt that they process, and they did get through it, at least to it, maybe they didn't fully process it because they're still shut down, but they did get through it. But they removed themselves from the opportunity to have even better experiences in the future, to have positive experiences in the future. Because they're so afraid of the negative in the past. Now all they're left with is these traumas. All they're left with is these memories that scarred them, these scars, man. They look in the mirror and they don't want to see the beauty. All they can see is the scars. They don't give themselves the opportunity to see the beauty, to see the improvement, to have the glow up, because they're too focused on the scars. You have to open yourself up in order to improve your life. And that's why the people who with the blackest hearts be the saddest people. And you know what makes it worse is the people around you will look at you like you don't feel nothing. The people around you will look at you like, man, that motherfucker cold. That motherfucker don't got no heart. And that can only make you sadder because it dehumanizes you. That's dehumanizing. Cold people, they still have feelings as much as they pretend like they don't. They still got feelings. Nobody likes to be made to feel less than human. And when you pointed at and looked at and treated like you don't have no feelings, it's dehumanizing. So I encourage you, if you're one of these people that I'm talking about, if you got the black heart, if you got the sadness upon sadness that compounds because you're too afraid to open yourself back up to experience joy in your life, then I challenge you. I challenge you to go back out there and open up. Whatever way, shape, or form you decide to do that, I guess it's up to you. You don't have to be foolish, but sometimes it pays to be a little bit foolish. Sometimes it pays to be a little bit delusional. Nothing great was ever accomplished by people who were playing it safe every step of the way. It's the facts. It's the fact of life. You have to understand it's nothing guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed is that if you don't try, you'll never get there. The only thing that's guaranteed is if you don't open yourself up to it, you'll never receive it. People will focus so much on being closed off because it's so popularized. It's looked at like, ooh, look at them. They're so detached. They're so cold. That shit ain't fun. It's not fun. It feels awful. I just told y'all about dehumanization. It feels awful. You feel lower than a human. You got to open yourself up to experience the joys of life. And do so in a productive manner. You'll find that all the experiences you have that are good will outweigh the bad. If you do so recklessly and carelessly, it's 50-50. You might end up putting yourself in the exact same position. You might end up balling out of control. I don't know. I can't tell you that. I'm not a fortune teller. But what I am is a human who's been through a lot of shit and been through different phases of shit and sat down and had to literally just fucking sit in my emotions and my thoughts and feelings because I couldn't go nowhere else but be trapped in my mind. So when I sat there and I processed it, I found out a couple things. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to challenge yourself to open back up. Let a little bit of pain. You know, if you can't hike to the top of the mountain without a couple of scrapes and bruises along the way. All right. It's okay to break your leg and take a rest, but at the end of the day, get back up and keep going.